Yesterday we spent a wonderful evening. Is it? Yeah. And I expected Plavan Babu should have been there, but you are not there. Huh? Oh. So for this session, this is the last session. After that, there will be a panel discussion, and then valedictory session, and then have a lunch, and then departure. So we will miss all of you after this lunch session. Thank you. So I request the session chairman of this session, Dr. Pankaj Sarkar, please come on the dais. Pankaj Sarkar is librarian in Patuakhali Science and Technology University, Bangladesh. I request co-chair, Dr. Shomir Kumar Jalal. You all know, there is no need to explain further. He is the deputy librarian working in our central library and helping a lot for organizing this event. I request a rapporteur of this session, Mr. Satish Kumar from ISM IIT Dhanbad. Please come. So here will be one technical presentation, and after that there will be a parallel session. The first 6 papers will be presented here, and the next 7 papers will be presented in another hall. So after this session, you have to split in 2 sessions, two parallel sessions. Yeah. So just wait. So please keep in mind, those first 6 papers will be presented here, and the rest 6 papers or 7 papers will be presented in Maitri Hall, just behind that. So I request Dipanita to present a flower bouquet to our chairman, session chairman, Dr. Pankaj Sarkar. Where is the cameraman? If you have a mobile, please take. You come here. Hey, photographs ke doctor, children Kumar na kinam. Light on, light. So I request, what is the name? Dolon to present a flower bouquet to our deputy librarian, Dr. Samir Jalal and Uttariya. Please. Aage. Okay, पढ़ोगे नहीं तुम? Thank you. So present a flower bouquet to our deputy librarian, Dr. Jalal and Uttariya. Keep flower. Keep flower. Hey, come close. Thank you. I request Satish Kumar ji, please come here. And Sangeeta, you please present a flower bouquet. आगे. हाँ, ओदिके मुँह. Uttariya, এটা পড়ি দাও. You just go. Thank you. Now I request today's speaker, Professor Plavan Bhomik. Many of you already know Professor Plavan Bhomik. Sir, here. Professor Plavan Bhomik is currently working here at Center for Excellence in Artificial Intelligence and JSN School of Telecommunication, IIT Kharagpur. And he is the man, he is the innovator to develop this digital library from day one. So give a big hand. From day one, his ideas were implemented in our National Digital Library. We are really, really thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and present and agreed to give a invited talk. I have actually requested him for many things, but he is so busy. But however, I am very happy that he has accepted our invitation, and he will give a very nice presentation. I hope everybody will enjoy. So I request Dolan to present a flower bouquet. Take a photographs, please. Cameraman ta kothay? Thank you. So I request session chair to organize this session, and I request Professor Plavan Bhaumik to restrict 20 to 25 minutes so that we have to close and complete all this session. Please sit there. Tomra khone boso. Ha, sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shutradhar, for this nice and kind introduction. So let me be very honest. So when I got into this project, I didn't have any idea about digital library. I've just seen the library in the physical form. And it is people like Dr. Shutradhar and many librarians, and of course Parthoda, who were there always to help us and teach me how to build a digital library. So I'm always grateful to you guys. Okay, I think we are running short of time. Let me start my presentation, which is on future of library technologies. So I think it will be a kind of apt topic for today, because today is the last day of the symposium. Maybe we can have a note of what are the future things that are lying ahead, what are the future things that we can work on. So I again, I'm thankful to the organizer of DLSD for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to talk to you and interact with you. So today what I'm going to do, I'll just leave a note of what are the fascinating things that we can do going ahead, just not by restricting us to search for the things and just view the contents in the library, but we can do much better on engaging the users with the library and giving more meaningful services, and services that are actually appropriate in this era where we are having our digital library in our hand, in our pocket, in the form of mobile devices. Okay. So first thing that I like to talk about, now the digital libraries are getting bigger and bigger because the resources are coming up from various sources, not only from the curators, maybe from other sources like the users. They are contributing a lot to the digital library. So as a whole, it is becoming a huge repository, but the point is how to manage this huge repository, how to build such a huge repository. What are the kind of challenges we have? So what we do as of now, we have a single index or maybe multiple indices, and we have a single search interface through which we can put the query to the system and get the results, right? But ideally, your library may have contents from different domains. For example, you have contents from medical domain, you have contents from engineering domain, you have contents from arts and humanities, and many other domains. Now, at this point of time, what we are following a single metadata format of the standard to capture all the attributes of different domains. But the domains might have their own kind of knowledge requirement. For example, if I take medical domain, so the terminologies that we use in medical domain, they are completely different than what we use in arts or humanities domain or social science domain. or the way we will be describing a resource in a medical domain that is completely different. For example, you take an X-ray plate, which is a kind of object in the digital library at this point of time. But how to annotate that? Will that be similar to what we will be doing to describe a painting in fine arts domain? That should be completely different. Now, as the different, they should be described by different kinds of metadata, different kind of metadata description language maybe. But if we have that, the problem is we cannot keep them in the single index. I have to partition the index in different domains, and each index will be organized by the metadata language that is relevant to that domain, right? So what we are doing, we are distributing our index into different partitions, and each partition is being represented by a different metadata language. Well, I can do that. I can have different kind of repositories which have different languages, that is fine. But look at the user. User puts forward a query. User really doesn't know what the backend system does. I just put a query. I am a medical practitioner. I put a query on some MRI image or X-ray. I am a fine arts person. I put forward a question about a painting, and I am oblivious to the fact that I have different indices and how the system will really satisfy my query, right? So ideally what should be done? So these are the issues. So if we have a very large index, first of all, the efficiency of retrieval goes down because of the simple fact that query has to be matched with multiple data structures, right? And the data structure is huge if the repository is huge. And of course, the domain specific information or the nuances of the domain is lost, as I have already talked about. So what kind of solution we can put forward? We can think of having a federated index or distributed index. For example, we can have an index for the education domain, we can have an index for the medical domain, I can have an index for the culture domain. And the user really doesn't know whether we have this partition or we have that partition. And finally, in that in the middle layer, we have something which will be helping the user to satisfy the need that the user has. So first thing that the system should do, upon receiving a query, the system should identify which index I should forward the query to. If it is a medical related query, I should be forwarding it to the medical index, not the education index, right? And it may also happen that the query spans over multiple domains. So in that case, what should we ideally do? We harvest or retrieve contents from different indices and try to integrate them in a very smooth manner, right? So two things that we need to implement. One is an intelligent query forwarding mechanism, which will take the query as input, try to understand the semantics of the query, the intent of the query, and then forward that query to the particular index which will be able to satisfy the query, right? Number one. Number two, if we have query which is spanning multiple domains, we have to kind of harvest resources from multiple domains, and we have to have some mechanism to aggregate the results. And this aggregation should also think about how to rank the results based on the query that the user has presented. Okay, so this can be one potential solution, and being at NDL, we tried to implement some of these ideas. Some of these ideas are there already implemented, but some of the other ideas are yet to be implemented in the practical or the public system. But we had prototypes which really deals with that. I think it doesn't work. Okay. So I think, yeah, I have discussed this. Now, the way traditionally we try to match the query to the documents, we look at the keywords that are there in the query, and we look at the keywords that are there in the document or the content, and we try to see the extent of overlap between the keywords that are in the query and the keywords that are in the document. More or less the search techniques work on with that idea, but there are certain detail on in this. There are certain algorithms which does better than this simple approach, but more or less the approach is something like that. But it does not really take care of the real meaning of the query, real semantics of the query, or real semantics of the document. And that's where we will find several irrelevant results that are coming up as to the user. For example, if I just search for say light, the light may belong to multiple domains. For example, light may belong to light in physics, it may belong to say interior decoration, or it may belong to lightweight nutrition, something like that, right? So it has got multiple meanings depending on the context it is appearing in. Now, the query can define the context, or query may not define the context. So for example, if I just say light, I really do not have any other cue to find out which kind of light you are trying to talk about. But what the system can do, the system can look at the past behavior of the user. So for example, look at a student, class 9 student. So perhaps the other queries that the user has given to the system, they are related to physics, light, or something like that. So the context is defined not only by what are the other words that are surrounding a particular word in the query, but also it may depend on what user has done in other sessions, right? But the point is, at this status of knowledge, we really do not deal with much of the semantics of the search. So in what way can do that? So that is what we want to talk about here. So let us look at two queries which were fired long back in NDL. So one query is books by Satyajit Ray, the other query is books on Satyajit Ray. So ideally, if we search by books by Satyajit Ray, we should have answers like say Aro Satyajit, not others. So others are not really talking about books by Satyajit Ray. They are talking about books about Satyajit Ray or books on Satyajit Ray. And the second query, if you see, these two are kind of having similar results. Can you tell us why is that?
Because the search is basic search. If you go to the advanced search, you can search Satyajit Ray as an author and you will get all the books written by Satyajit.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the point he is trying to make is this is a very basic search. We are just putting in the query, trying to match the query words with the content words, right? But had we specified the query like say, I want to search for book which is authored by Satyajit Ray in the first case. In the second case, I search for books where the subject is Satyajit Ray. So there we use the facets to specify the semantics of the query. But again, think about a very naive user. I know you are all librarians. You are pretty much conversant in doing faceted search. But think about a kid. He or she, first of all, does not have that much patience to look at the different facets and select, etc., etc. But what we can do as developer, can we look at these queries and somehow understand the semantics of it? Now, what do we mean by understanding the semantics? Can we convert this keyword query in a faceted query automatically? So I have this query, which is a keyword, set of keywords, and can I get a faceted query out of that? And that should be done automatically. And if we fire, so I'm just playing a role of a very expert user here, right? I'm taking a naive query, basic query, I'm translating that into a faceted query. Can we do that automatically? So again, the query may be very long. Video lectures on computer science, IT Kharagpur, right? So can we tag it like this? So these first two words, they talk about learning resource type. The second thing is talking about subject domain. The third thing is perhaps talking about source organization. Can we do that automatically? Just by looking at the query. But what are the cues we can get? We can get the cues from this pronouns or prepositions, something like that. We can use them, right? So another query, so video tutorial, it can be tagged like learning resource type, data structure is a keyword, A Basu is the author, and NPTEL is the source, right? So we can use some techniques, borrow some techniques from natural language processing or artificial intelligence to deal with this problem. The problem is again, given a long query where the user has put forward the intent, we want to translate that automatically into a faceted query. Okay. Now the query can be more complex. Let's say I want to search like this, works of Indian about European colonization of Southeast Asia. So it talks about a lot of things. Now if you are lucky, there would be certain content or some contents which will exactly have this set of words close to each other, and that content will be retrieved for you in response to this query. But you may not be lucky always. You may not be lucky always. Why? Because the same thing can be stated in different ways, and that's how people do, that's how the authors do. This colonization, it can be represented in many ways. So some country conquered some other country. So that may lead to colonization, right? So the European word may not be directly present in the book, right? So let us take an example. So this is a book which is The Ocean of Churn, authored by Sanjeev Sanyal, who has got nationality to be Indian, right? But for you in the library, what you have? You have only this, perhaps this. You have indexed the book in your library, you know the author, not more than that, right? And perhaps in your library you have categorized this to be a non-fiction, okay? But your library does not know this, that this book contains a fact that Dutch colonized Indonesia. Okay? This is there in the book. Now given this graphical structure, can you tell me whether I will be able to answer this query? Just by doing simple keyword search. Can we? No. Oh, you are saying yes, sorry. Yeah, tell me why it is yes. but here I do not have anything which talks about Southeast Asia. It talks about Indonesia. You think about a machine. You don't think like a human. You think like a machine.
It depends on the indexing of the content.
Yeah, so I'm telling you what kind of indexing has been done. This book is a type of non-fiction and is having an author this. Or perhaps you are saying this also. This book has a fact which says Dutch colonized Indonesia. That's it. Not more than that.
In that case, South Asia will not be written.
Not.
The term will not appear.
Okay. Now what we can do, we can say that Dutch is a part of Europe. Okay? And Indonesia is part of Southeast Asia. We can do this. Right? So we have given you a proof of concept that we can provide answer to this query, but with what cost? We have to have additional knowledge beyond what we have indexed in the library. The question is, who will give me this additional knowledge? Yeah.
So this concept is already there in library science.
Which one?
All these concepts, like Dr. Ranganathan, he propounded the concept of whole part, whole organ, cow, calf. So they represent the same thing.
Okay.
If that classic knowledge is used for indexing, we can achieve this kind of
Okay, I fully agree with you. But look at the digital libraries. Look at the implementation. I am always saying that proof of concept is there. The great luminaries, they had a great vision. They had the vision. But how far has that been realized? There are certain impediments to that. I am talking about that impediment, right? So again, I am stressing upon the fact, if we have these structure, I will be able to answer this query. There is no difficulty. But the point is, how do we get this piece of knowledge? Like, Dutch is a part of Europe. Indonesia is part of Southeast Asia. So you are talking about facts about the world, the whole world. You really do not know. Yeah.
You need to bring thesaurus and ontology.
So we need to bring in the thesaurus and ontology, right? So some part of ontology I have to keep in here. So this part of ontology has been taken from the schema.org. So this novel, non-fiction, article, they are all types of creative works. I can make use of that. But who will supply this? The facts about the entities of the world.
Thesaurus, relationships.
Yeah, but thesaurus, they are also pretty much restricted. They are to the, if you just compare that with the scale of the world, it's nothing. Right? So the question is, what do we get this knowledge? So before that, let me just give you the blueprint of how do we proceed. So we have this library resource description, which can be represented in a knowledge graph. So you have the book, the author, that author has written another book, for example. So you have a knowledge graph. So this constitutes your core knowledge graph in the library. Now you connect them to external knowledge graphs to harvest additional information. Okay? Like, see, Dutch is a kind of part of Europe. So that is a kind of additional knowledge which your library knowledge graph does not contain. And somehow you need to find out some other resource which you can harvest and attach to your core knowledge graph. Right? And this knowledge can come from some unstructured text also. So in that case, you have to somehow translate that into a form of knowledge graph and then attach that to the core knowledge graph. Right? So two problems here. Assuming that we have some external knowledge which will contain facts about world. So the first thing that we need to check, for the entities that we have in my core library knowledge graph, what are the other entities that are, what are the other knowledge graph that are relevant for this, and what are the other entities from those knowledge graphs can be aligned to the entities in my knowledge graph, right? So for example, Dutch was there in your knowledge graph, and Dutch is present in another knowledge graph. You need to have a connection, and this establishing this connection is not always easy, because these two forms can be appearing in different ways. So for example, Dutch may be represented by, say, Netherlands, something like that. So you have Dutch in some place, in Netherlands in some other place. So you have to find a way to align them. But again, assuming that we have all this with us, so we have a very nice way of combining this external knowledge with this core knowledge graph, and your query will be satisfied by consulting this extended knowledge graph. Now the question is, we are giving a very bright picture, but where is the data? And data is there. There is a plenty of data out there. So there is a kind of parallel thread, and that thread has come from the area of artificial intelligence. It was very long known. Yeah, sure. From the AI persons, that an intelligent agent to work in the environment, you have to supply the world knowledge to that agent, right? Otherwise, the agent will have nothing to do inference or reasoning. So they started building these knowledge graphs, so ontologies and knowledge graph in different forms. Now, I think till 2000 or so, it was not getting scaled up, so that it can capture the knowledge of the entire world. Now the very idea of this doing this crowdsourced way of knowledge production came into picture, thanks to the efforts from the Wikimedia Foundation in the form of Wikipedia and others. So people started to propose crowdsourced way of creating this kind of structured knowledge, right? You think about entity, you push that in the web, there is someone out there who will be supplying facts about that entity, right? Now the beauty of having a structured knowledge like this is that you can write a very precise query with a very precise language to find out answers from this knowledge graph. I'll just give you some examples of that. And yeah. So yeah, so there are different sources of this knowledge. For example, DBpedia is a kind of huge source, and I think that was the most prominent knowledge graph to start with in this domain, but slowly Wikidata has taken over this space. Now Wikidata is beyond imagination. It is huge, and it is encompassing almost knowledge of all the entities in the world. And excuse me? Authenticity. That is always a problem in crowdsourced way of producing knowledge. But people try to use some moderation techniques. So for example, this DBpedia resource is not really a crowdsourced one. So what they did, they took up the info boxes from the Wikipedia articles and tried to convert that into structured form. So it is more or less curated, but again, you cannot really claim, whenever you are producing a knowledge, maybe by human or by machine, it is always correct, it is always complete. You can never claim that. And that claim is also true when you do a machine way of producing knowledge graph. That is always there. That game will always be there. Right? But again, you attach trust to some authors, trust to the facts which are coming from some author, or you do not put some trust which is coming from some rogue organization. right? So I think using these kind of resources, we can make the libraries better, the search better, and make the users more engaged. I think I had many other things to talk about, but I think due to shortage of time, we can.
Your presentation was very wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
I had one question. That how
Yes,
do
sir.
you think about this application of large language model in future retrieval?
Okay, so what is your question is how do we use LLMs?
In the future, that how large language model is going to influence our retrieval system, library retrieval system?
Okay, so there are many ways. So one thing is in retrieval system, one concept is pretty much important, what is called query expansion. So you have given a query, but you are not really sure about that query will fetch good results. Can we add some more terms to the query, or to try to do some completion of the query so that you represent the intent of the user properly? So you can use these LLMs just by, and LLMs will help you to produce more terms along with that. But LLMs, it is going to play a huge role in generally library domain. So if you talk about conversational libraries, which is I think one of the new areas people are talking about, that would be kind of game changer in the future.
I think we are shorting, sir, sorry, accommodate everyone. I am very much thankful. Have एक photo लीजिए ना,
pleasure.
एक one photo please. Yeah. So I request our chairman, please come on the dais to present a memento, a very special memento I have made for our professor.
Oh, thank you.
With your photo, only date of birth is not.
Don't put that.
Data card inbuilt. Data point inbuilt.
I also request our chairman, Plavan Babu, to present a flower bouquet to our chairman of the session. Please come. Aye, please come. এখানে I request Jalan Babu. Satish Kumar ji. শেষ করে দিন টাইম নেই
ওই একটা মাইক ছিল না মাইক
এখানে
হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে থ্যাংক ইউ এক্সেলেন্ট আজকে একটু লাঞ্চ করবেন আমাদের সাথে দিস মাই রিকোয়েস্ট একটার সময়
আজকে যেটা হচ্ছে আমার পরীক্ষার ডিউটি আছে আবার
কটা থেকে
আমাকে একটা কুড়িতে যেতে হবে।
তাহলে তার আগে চলে আসবেন 12:30টায়
কেন আমি এটা দেবো না, পুরো ভাটা খেয়েছে আমি
ঠিক।
আজ পরে আসছি পাঠাতে শোনা
ওকে ঠিক আছে so okay now we will have a parallel session so first 6 paper will be presented here and another six paper will be presented in the Moitri hall we have to finish it before 11 so I request the session chair to maintain the time to close the session before 11 okay या आपण हां ये सेशन शुरू कर दो.
Now I like to request Mr. Shukanto Haldar to present his presentation. As time is very short, 8 minutes to each presentation, please. Shukanto Haldar, Mr. Shukanto Haldar is,
1
sir.
minute. Serial number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 will be presented in that room, and 1 to 6 will be presented here. So, interested people, they can go either this room or that room. Thank you.
Mr. Hemanto Kumar Biswas, please. Oh, yeah. Please. Time, as time is very short, 8 minutes to each participant, please. Yes, sir. Oh, Onion Pal. Onion Pal, sir.
First of all, good morning, everyone. I am very glad to be present here to present my presentation. The topic of my presentation is Digital Resource Management in Selected Institutional Libraries in Kolkata, a Comparative Study. As we all know, that digital DRM basically management of digital resources in an organization's digital resources means e-resources, e-journals, and databases, etc. Due to the advent of new tools and technologies, it is very much necessary to preserve the information digitally. In digital age, libraries plays a vital role for providing access to providing wide range of access of e-resources to the patrons in support of teaching, learning, and research activities. We have selected three nationally recognized institutions, which are Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, Indian Statistical Institutions, and Indian Institute of Science Education and Research for our study. Basically, we all know that DRMS, there are various tools and tools for handling the digital resources. In commercially, from ProQuest, there is a 360 Resource Manager, and from CCDNix, Blue Cloud, Innovative Interfaces, Xlibris, from Xlibris, Alma, and from open source, there are many softwares like Coral, CAPS, SMDB, etc. And for in-house softwares, for example, Vera from MIT, from Pennsylvania State University, Ehrlich, etc. But the most challenging things are here highlighted is access restrictions, technical issues, budgetary constraints, and staffing concerns. For access restrictions, the very well-known person, Sarah Clark, pointed out that digital resource from University of Texas pointed out that digital resource management is becoming increasingly critical in libraries, for libraries, as they strive to provide seamless access to the resources and optimize the digital collections. She also concluded that in budgetary concerns, the library must invest in robust systems and workflows to manage effective of licensing, authentication, and discoverability. And technical issues basically refers to software hardware malfunctions and software incompatibilities. Staffing concerns, we all know that to handle the digital resources and the skillful staffs are very much needed, and that's all. The boons of practicing of digital resources are highlighted mainly in three major points: increased accessibility, digital resource management provided easy access to e-resources, and in support of teaching, learning, and research activities. Cost effectiveness, it is more cost effective in comparison to the traditional print resources, and the digital resources is discovered easily by some advanced tech searching and linking mechanisms, and introduce a new material to the users. Objective basically objective for the practicing digital resources is to know what are the resources are they are providing, what tools and technologies they are using, and the strategies which they are which they took for their practices of digital resources. We basically an observation. We basically obtained an observation method to conduct our study. The library websites are visited, and the data collected from the library websites, and from the data, the data is tabulated and for analyzing. And for findings, I am not going to tell all the lines line by line. So in short, three things I have to point it out, that all the services are provided by all libraries, but in this case, IIM Calcutta is ahead of the days too, as they provide the they provide maximum resources to the users and facilitates maximum facilities to the users. And another two things are there is a resource policy to all the libraries, but an access policy absent for the libraries, as they provide a facilitated online subscription based approach to the users, and user friendly software for downloading digital materials, that is in PDF, HTML or XML in format, is highly recommended. I am not criticizing all these libraries. It is basically a comprehensive overview of our digital resource management practices in selected institutions. All the institutions are very good in their own state, and they are developing their practice. They are developing their strategies. They are for practicing their digital resources. But due to the time constraints, the study is limited for 3 institutions, national recognized institution only. But if we include all the other institutions, then it will be very effective to know the practices of the digital resources. And one more thing is that we all know that the artificial intelligence is the new hot topic in information industry. So if we include the AI in our services, in the library services, then it will be very promising approach to the libraries. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
So your recommendation specifically to IIM Calcutta?
Yes, sir.
Like we,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anjan. Thank you. Now, Dr. Rajshekhar Kumbar is requested to present his presentation. Please. Dr. Rajshekhar Kumbar. Please, sir.
Very good morning. First of all, I thank IIT Kharagpur, Dr. Sutradhar, librarian, deputy librarian, Dr. Samir Jalal and his NDLI team for organizing such a wonderful event and give me an opportunity to present my paper. My presentation is on significance of digital library in Karnataka Folklore University. It's a theoretical paper and it's a proposal to initiate and design the digital content and information resources in our university library. Which one I have to use? It's an overview of my presentation, introduction, folklore, and I'm going to brief about our Karnataka Folklore University. It's one of the only university in the world on folklore studies, established by the government of Karnataka in the year 2011. And digital library and the software which we are going to use in our university library, this space for building that e-content databases and collection development policies which we have formed tentatively, and opportunities and challenges which we are going to face. Which one? Where to go? This way, okay. Okay. Okay, it's an introduction. The emergence of internet has added a new dimension to the information technology, which gave a birth to new concept of digital libraries, knowledge management, and recovering the indigenous culture and heritage materials. The digital libraries have emerged as a crucial component of global information infrastructure, adopting the latest information ICT technology tools and technologies to promote an organizational structure to encourage the findings of information resources and sharing the resources between the academicians and across the globe. I'm going to brief about the folklore. Folklore is it refers to a traditional belief, costumes, stories, and practices of a community or a particular group of people. Folklore, it is closely associated with religious and social costumes in India. Folklore is also influenced traditional Indian art, craft forms. For example, Madhumani paintings of Bihar, which depicts the scenes of mythology and folklore. So folklore can be considered basically in the broader point of view of folk art, folk museum, folk dance, folk medicine, folk costumes, folk literature, and folk tourism. I'm going to brief about the Karnataka Folklore University.
Please, findings of
No, it's a proposal.
conclusion.
You want findings, sir? It's not coming. So, just brief about our Karnataka Folklore University started in the year 2011, actually working towards the preservation and documentation of various forms of folk literatures, traditions. and
Skip
instruments.
please.
Sorry. And digital library, which we are planning to start digital library and okay. Proposed implementation plan need assessment through a thorough needs of assessment conducting the identifying the specific requirements of the preferences of the targeted users, technology infrastructure development, content acquisition and curation, testing and user feedback, and training and educational programs, marketing and outreach, which helps us to initiate the program in our university library. And DSpace is an open source repository software package used to create institutional repositories and digital libraries, provides a platform for managing and preserving digital research materials. Key features of the space, which has community and collection structures, customization, preservation, access control, search and discovery, integration, support for various files formats. Collection policy, which we have designed based on the recommendation from the Library of Congress on recommendation collection development policy of the folk literatures. So we have customized the collection policy according to our university requirements.
Please, sir,
Publications pertaining
findings,
to
findings.
findings. Okay, these are opportunities which will be benefited to the users by implementing the digital library in our university library. Challenges, digital divide, copyright licensing, these are the certain challenges will be might be facing. And conclusion, the traditional library process such as collection development and refers must be revised and enhanced to accommodate these differences, despite serving as a potential foundation for digital library work. Using our current understanding of libraries as a foundation, we can delve deeper into the exploring the particular potential benefits and obstacles. The expenses of being digital are also significant. Most libraries are currently focusing on developing substantial resources for infrastructure, including both software and hardware. The digital libraries offer enormous potential for folklore research.
Thank you, Dr. Kumbar, for your nice presentation.
Okay, sir.
Give a big hand for him.
Thank you, sir.
Then I like to request Mr. Shahjab Hassan. Please, Mr. Shahjab Hassan. Shahjib.
In three numbers, sir, two numbers, sir, there is HK Biswal, sir.
No, is the laptop.
Next mirror.
I already told you, yes.
Next and then next mirror. This one.
Sir.
তিনজন তো চলে গেল, এরপরে চার আর দুজনেই হেমন্ত।
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shazib Hassan from Akal University. Today, my topic is Improving India Digital Literacy, a review. I know time is very short, so I skip my introduction directly. I come to my objectives. Yes, evaluate the present status of digital literacy, emphasis of effect of digital divide, examine current initiative and programs, and etc. The article explored the complex web of demographies, disparities in internet speed, and the growing impact of social media, of which together provide light of India's continuous digital transformation. Internet access and penetrations. The Indian government has taken action to encourage digital literacy throughout the nation. The Government Digital India program was introduced in 2023 with the goal of providing broadband internet access to every Indian hamid and teaching 500 million Indian digital skills. Here is one figure. Digital literacy and demographics. The divide between the usage of internet by men and women is quite divided. By age, the cost of internet access has relied and the availability of smartphone and increased. We have seen a significant increase in the number of older people and women using the internet. Age group here. Location state with the highest number of internet users in India: Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Uttar Pradesh. Top Indian cities with the highest number of internet users: Bengaluru, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Mumbai. Socioeconomic status. Internet user in India and more likely to be from high social economic background. About 60% of internet users have a college degree of higher, compared to only 20% of the overall population. Some important aspects. Yes, the Digital India, the government of India established the Digital India plan of turn of nation into a knowledge economically and society empowered by technology. Prime Minister Narendra Modi introduced the initiative of July 1st, 2015. Digital India precipitated the transformation of the economics. Some sectors are here.
Please skip it.
Government initiative and policies, NDLM, PM Disha, Bharat Project, Rural ICT Infrastructure Project, yes, National Digital Library of India, and so yeah.
Mr. Shahji, data collection and results.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Now finish.
Thank you, Mr. Shahjib, for his nice presentation. Now I like to request Mr. Hemant Kumar Biswal to present his paper.
Very good morning to all of you. Dignitary on the dais, of the dais. My paper title is Libraries Benefaction Towards Sustainable Development Goals, an overview. Here, main objective of this my paper, I am going to, with me, my co-authors are Dr. B. Sutradhar sir and Professor Bulu Marana sir. Next slide. So I think you must be aware about this last 2-3 days. Just we are talking about this sustainable development. You must be aware about this. What is sustainable? Sustainable means that development which state that it must meet the present needs. without compromising the ability of future needs. Okay. So, in 1987, this by Brundtland report, they have defined this one, and does not mean only this sustainability means that it's mainly refers to the balance of economic growth as well as the preservation of the environment and welfare of people. Yeah. So, in 2015, there was a 195 nations agreed with the UNO, United Nations Organization, to one sustainable development goal has been defined to ensure all people that to end poverty, protect planets, and ensure, and it should be objectives should be fulfilled by 2030. There are 17 goals are there, like no poverty, zero hunger, good health, and welfare being and quality education. So these are the 17 the sustainable goal. It is initiative taken by the UNO, and just our this symposium, this main theme is that on this quality education. But my study is here, just I am going overview of this sustainable goal, not particular, not limited to the only all education, all that. I will go overview how the library can contribute to supports the sustainable goal. Next. So here in 2015, IFLA recommends or advocates to just implement to all library to support or contribute for the sustainable development goal. So why library, how a library can support for sustainable development goal to achieve the SDG 2030 goals by 17 goals are there. How that, just I will come in the next slides. My objective of this study is how library can contribute to sustainable development goals. And just I have explored all the 17 goals for inclusion in library and information centers. Previously what happened, this sustainable development goal, it was only limited to the particular area or field, mainly in the environment or economic growth. Now it is popularized in all field of area. So how library can contribute for to achieve the sustainable goal in 2030, this I have given here. And methodology, just I have taken, just I have not taken any study here, just I have taken using this review of literature only, and just IFLA guideline I have taken. So there was a initiative by IFLA, that is one library map, where you can find all the statistics of the library. As of IFLA library maps, there are 2.8 million library has been registered there. So in IFLA map, you will get that the guideline, they have given the guideline or story that you can found in this library maps.ifla.org. So all the story that you can found how library can contribute in different by implementing or by giving the different services. So these are the goals, no poverty. This how library can just achieve the goal. Like this, all there are 17 goals. Like no poverty, library can achieve this goal by giving general public access information, instruction, new skill, how to this. And here you can see here zero hunger. How library can play an important role in zero hunger. Okay, so here we can give the information like market data. We can give here the agriculture information. We can just provide to the farmers. Good health, and here I noticed here that you can see very limited countries or very limited countries are there, like 4 countries are there on no poverty, zero hunger. You can see here 3 countries they have contributed 4 story. Stories mean here that they have given the contribution, how they are giving the services or practicing there. That is the story here. But you can see on quality education, you can see there are 28 countries they have given they have contributed for the sustainable development goal, out of which 41 stories are there. Like this, you can see, I am not going all details, here for clean water and all this, and just here just life below water, there is many very nominal here, only limited storage and country. There are only 2 countries, life below water, that is a sustainable development goal 14 and 15. That very only 2 countries, and there is only 2 stories are there. So I find this one here. There are 190 stories are there, out of which 35 countries are there here, and India in there I find here quality education, which is on that. Obviously, it will be our objective. Library mainly just play important role for the education. So I find here on quality education, which they have contributed more on sustainable development 4 here. Yeah, this is the map I have given here. Total 35 countries have contributed unique 57 story that I have given. Here just I see here, I want to mention here only India, there are only 4 stories so far. That is only education and some poverty there. And that main that is you can get from the Russian Federation, Canada, China, that country. So coming to the conclusion here, libraries should devise, improve the social behavior. We should support for libraries should support for the sustainable development to achieve in 2030. With this, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bichwal, for your nice presentation. You have completed your paper in time. Please give a big hand to him. Next, I'd like to request Dr. Bhajo Raju Gunjal. Please, Mr. Gunjal.
Good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to convey my thanks to the organizer, Dr. B. Sutradhar and his team, to giving this opportunity for me to present my paper. And also, my topic is enhancing the attainment of sustainability development goals, that too in particular quality education, that is SDG 4. So, I am just going to highlight only the main points because of the paucity of the time. So, in that quality education, 2-3 things which are very important here. One is who all are supporting this quality education, that too in particular that SDG around the world, and in India some of the examples where some of the initiatives are supporting this quality education, and at the end what as a library professionals and as a role of library, how are we going to support this quality education. These are the 3 things which I am going to highlight. So, as I'm just skipping this because already previous presenter has already given this basic information. But however, the third point, the role of digital libraries or the libraries in this quality education 4 is very important, because it really plays a pivotal role in providing the value added services to the users. To provide value added services, we need to adopt some of the state of the art technologies, and to enhance teaching, learning and research in the educational institutions to provide the quality education. So, the objective is same as I mentioned. How are we going to make the understand how are the attainment is going to happen for this education? And second thing, initiatives and other frameworks, what all the different kind of initiatives and other frameworks adopted in world and in India, and then role of digital libraries. These are the 3 objectives which trying to explain here. So, significance of this study is that too in this quality education in different four phases. One is under teaching, under learning, and then research and societal impact. So there are, when I was doing some literature survey, so I found some of the initiatives which are really helping this SDG 4, all SDGs, but in particular to the quality education. These are the main some initiatives which I found, and it has been already, details have been given in the paper as well. So IFLA is there, and then ISD is there, and EBLIDA is there, and this Republic of Slovenia, which I found very interesting, because from the day one, as soon as the SDGs have been declared, so they brought that concept and how to attain, what are the objectives, how are you going to take care, that they brought it in the national framework itself across the country. That report is very good. If you have get any chance, you can go through that report. This, I am talking about this report. This report is really very nice. And then there are other countries also which are doing very well. Now, in terms of India, as we all know, NEP 2020 is making a remarkable contribution, and then lot of initiatives in terms of the improvising the quality education. Then there are some awareness sessions which are really helping for the creation of the SDGs. That is very important. These are the framework how we are going to support the quality education. Then conducting regular higher education sessions and on this in the libraries, and then SDG working groups, that is important, and then collaborative pilot project initiatives, and then integrated rural development projects, because it is very important nowadays, because always we are not going to touch upon only urban areas. We need to touch upon even rural areas, and rural digital literacy, information literacy, everything, and also their livelihood. These are the things which really matters in terms of the rural area also. So here integrated rural development projects are really making a remarkable contribution in this area. And then many government supports which really bring out some financial support and various support initiatives they are also bringing in. Then in India, in brief, some of the key initiatives that National Education Policy 2020 in India, because it really revamped the revision and revamping of all the aspects of education structure, and the G20 Summit India recently, and then this Model G20 initiative, because here the overall objective of this program was to engage institutions of around 60,000 degree colleges, universities and technical institutions to foster and engage the students to bring up the education system, and then NDLI, of course. So in particular now, how are we going to contribute as a role of digital libraries to this SDG 4? As I mentioned, supporting teaching, learning and research activities, enabling access to all the things, all kind of access of the contents, and then awareness, and then organizing various workshops, and then advanced teaching pedagogy, which really support the teaching and learning process. And then the previous, the first author, which he was talking about, that semantic search and all those things, that really comes here in the knowledge organization systems, because this is really important, because simply storing and giving the access to the content is not important, because how are we going to make it accessible in an effective way, that is very important. And the library makerspace and gamifications, next generation libraries and other use of artificial technologies. This is, I am just going to highlight in different phases, like teaching phase, learning phase, research phase, and then societal impact, how the libraries are playing an important role. For example, here, when it comes to the teaching process, the pedagogy tools and techniques, enabling the smart class and e-learning, and then facilitating the digital content management, and access and visibility to the world, and then adopting the knowledge management system in the digital libraries. This is the support which we can provide in terms of the libraries to teaching phase. When it comes to the learning phase, again learning process providing the environment, that smart learning aspects, and then student experience, enhancing the student experience, that is very important, because simply providing the website or simply providing the access doesn't going to help as a library professional for the students. We need to think from their angle, how are we going to make their life very useful to access the information in an effective manner. And then awareness, orientation from showcasing tools and techniques. When it comes to the research phase, how are we going to provide them the research visibility? for the scholarly output of the institute. That is very important. And authoring space equipped with the tools and techniques and a mechanism of enhancing the research visibility in the world. And this is very important, the societal impact. How are we as a library professionals and the libraries, we are going to make the societal impact? It's a platform where it can provide the promote lifelong learning opportunities for all and the development of improvement of the livelihood of the society. So in conclusion, so as a library professionals, it's not only our duty to provide the contents or the collections to the institutes or anything, but at the same time as a library professional, how are we going to adopt the new tools and technologies, and then the role of the professionals to adapt those kind of technologies to give the value added services. And then most of the SDGs are really trying to put it in the national framework only, like NEP and other things. And then lastly, enhance the education process to support through educational institutes, which is very much important. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gunjal, for your nice presentation. Dear audience, 6 papers were presented here. All the papers were presented nicely. First of all, Professor Dr. Plavon Kumar Bhaumik, a distinguished professor of IIT, presented his paper. He completed his paper in timely. He talked about selection of metadata in development of a digital library. He discussed strategies to be used in selection of metadata and challenges to be encountered while creating a large digital repository. Next paper was presented by Mr. Anjan Pal. He discussed digital resources management, practicing challenges and strategies. Third paper was presented by Dr. Rajshekhar Kumbar.
One more paper for 3-4 minutes.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
He's very smiling, always smiling.
Thank you. What's your name?
Sunima.
3 minutes, sir.
Sonima.
3 minutes. कोई ग्राफ वगैरह फोटोग्राफी है?
So I just read my.
Yeah. Introduce yourself first.
A very good morning, all of you. I am Sunima Baral from IIT Bhilai. My paper is from repository to resource hub, conceptualizing traditional academic libraries as knowledge management centers. So in the ICT era, now the academic library change has been transferring over time to advance in technology and change its users' need. So now the scenario has been changed. Academic libraries has emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, data analytics and machine learning to enhance their services to fulfill the user demand. So in my study, we took 3 knowledge management models to enhance the services of library. It is a systematic coordination between people, process and technology. So the major factors are organizational affecting knowledge management, that is technical infrastructure, organizational culture, leadership and motivation. So I took 3 models. Like that Boisot knowledge category model. In this model, knowledge is codified in 4 categories like codified, uncodified, diffused and undiffused. And the next model is non-cast knowledge management model is socialization, externalization, internalization and combination. And the last one is ACE model, that is it is defined in 6 process steps, that is share, create, use, store and identify, acquire the knowledge. So this is the suggestion and the conclusion is here. The conclusion emphasizes the vital role of knowledge management in academic libraries. It highlights the necessity of efficiently organizing, preserving and disseminating information resources to support educational and research missions. Effective knowledge management strategy empower libraries to meet diverse pattern needs, enhance access to resources and elevate research quality. Academic libraries must invest in technology and skilled staff to align knowledge management strategy in their mission. This investment promotes lifelong learning, contributes to knowledge growth and ensure relevance amid developing information and landscape.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boral, for your nice presentation. During 1.5 hours, we enjoyed much. All the papers are presented excellently. So please give a hand to them. Please. Now I request to co-chair Dr. S.K. Jalal to continue the rest of the session. Please, Dr. S.K. Jalal, sir. Sir, please. Thank you, Mr. Satish. Our
So I must congratulate all the presenters for their nice presentation, and the session was very, fruitful with a, tremendous helpful lecture which will be very much used for our library domain, that is delivered by, eminent speaker Plavon Kumar Bhomik. There are a lot of issues, many of us have a lot of queries, but due to time, we didn't able to ask the questions. Even in fact, I have one question to him, maybe you have also, kind of a clarification I wanted to know, that automatic acquisition of data, since this is he was talking about the indexing part, but what about the acquisition, automatic acquisition of submission of data? So if lot of data have been submitted automatically, so that has to be, whether it will be and how it will be going to each and every domain specific repository. That was the one challenge. So normally there will be a one interface where every users will be submitting the data, and as we are talking about the indexing part in different various verticals, subject verticals, so in that case automatic data acquisition also has to be taken care of, so that the indexing part and as well as the submission part both should be taken care of, so that it will be synchronized and it will work very fine. So, that was my perception. Just I wanted to add it here. Now, another aspects, today's theme was actually for the copyright aspects, which I think here very few papers have been discussed, but I wanted to make one comment here in the sense that we have nowadays there are a lot of learning materials are coming up, and also using various technologies, that is augmented reality technologies, and virtual reality and augmented reality have been applied, and many libraries are generating content out of the AR/VR techniques. So now think of the materials which will be coming out using the augmented reality and virtual reality. So what about the copyright issues for those materials? That we have also have to think of. So as I have read the literature, I have very little knowledge, but they are talking about in the digital environment, the augmented reality, using augmented reality, the content which will be generated will come under the copyright issue, will have the copyrighted. That means if I use the AR/VR techniques and generate the content, so content whatever generated will be under my copyright, So these are the issues we need to focus on as the situation are complex. So day by day we will be using the complex environment. We are moving towards the complex environment, and in that way there are a lot of issues and challenges related to licensing and copyright that we have to look into it. So this is my, just to add to this here. Thank you, and with this I request all the presenters of today's session to come here, and I request our chairperson, sir, Dr. Pankaj ji, to hand over memento to all the presenters. I request, please come here, all the presenters. So first is
অঞ্জন পাল প্রেজেন্ট
পরিমল স্যার তো ওই দিক গেল। অঞ্জন পাল, অঞ্জন পাল,
অঞ্জন পাল, হ্যাঁ।
ডক্টর রাজশেখর কুম্বার, ডক্টর মিস্টার শাহজিব হাসান,
Dr. Gunjal, Mr. Hemant Kumar Biswal,
হ্যাঁ,
and
মিস্টার গুঞ্জাল।
and also Sunima Baral. Please. You start.
Mr. Halder, please come.
सर थोड़े सामने आइएगा सर, ये भी आ रहा है ना, अच्छा नहीं आएगा सर, प्लीज व्हाट इज अंजल
No, no.